Yes, hello friends. Welcome to BISP Solutions. Myself Ashwin, and BISP Solutions is a tech company that provides technological solutions across the world. Now, friends, today is our day 16, and today we are going to see what is FRD, right? Functional Requirement Document, or you can call it as Functional Design Document. Here in our yesterday's session, we have seen that what is BRD, correct? BRD. So I suggest you to watch my yesterday's session. So today let's go with the FRD, that is the functional requirement document. Now first of all, let's come here. Now in our next few sessions, and for the last few sessions, we have been talking about the documentation. Documentation is a very important part to accomplish any integration, or we can say any project successfully. Whatever the documentations are prepared, the team works accordingly. Okay. So now introduction to FRD. FRD means functional requirement document. Now this functional requirement document, it says that it describes how the system should behave to meet business requirements, right? So there is one document, that is BRD, that is business requirement document. Now business requirement document just shows that exactly how their current business is going on and exactly what they want. So what they want and how it will be done, both are different things. Okay, so describe how the system should behave to meet business requirement, and in BRD describes what the system wants, what the client wants. Okay, now focuses on the functional solution including logic, data handling, UI fields, validation, etc. Now see, in this functional requirement document we mainly focus on solution, right? Exactly of how this solution will be going on. For example, I am giving you one scenario. For example, let's take a purchase order. Okay, let's take up, let me make it zoom. Let's take purchase order. Okay, in their legacy system, purchase order, right now there is no approval routing in legacy system, right? But in NetSuite they want, right? So in BRD it will be defined that currently there is no approval routing in their current system, but they want approval routing in their NetSuite system. Now the FRD shows that how it will be done. So that is called FRD. In FRD, it shows how it will be done, how the functional process going on. It also includes the logic also. Logic, that means what type of logic, whether you are using a workflow, whether you are using a scripting part, anything, whatever you want, right? Then the data handling. Data handling means in functional design document we will show that how the data will be handled, right? Suppose if you are creating any saved search, then in that case what type of data will be shown and how the logics will be applied on that data, right? Then the UI fields also. Suppose in business requirement document it is said that we are having 8 sales reps, right? Now 8 sales reps we are having, so every sales rep is having his own requirement for the sales order fill form, right? So definitely we have to customize the forms according to their requirement, then only we can move ahead, right? Similarly the validation also, every sales rep requires validation. For example, one sales rep says that when I will create a sales order, definitely it should be related to any purchase order, it should be against any purchase order. But the another sales rep says that no, I don't want that purchase order number, I will just require a memo field for warehouse managers. So in this way we have to put wherever the mandatory fields they want, whatever they want, that we need to put in that form, right? Similarly, created after the BRD is signed off. This is most important. It is created after the BRD is signed off, because see, when we are providing, we are a service provider company, right? Now once you define your requirements, once you freeze your requirements, then only we can move ahead. So this functional requirement document will not be created until the BRD is signed off. Okay. Now acts as a blueprint for now see, so far the first discovery meeting with the client is okay, then the another meeting for requirement gathering, that is also okay. I developed the BRD fine. Till this point our technical team and functional team will not start working, right? It will not start working. This the same procedure will be applied in IT company also, right? Whether it's a software development or ERP implementation. Acts as a blueprint for developers, testers and functional consultants. So this functional, suppose if I created this functional requirement document, okay. Now I created this functional requirement document, I showed them okay, and then they said okay, go ahead. The sign off is done. Now what will happen next? Now see, this is the key differences of both. Now see, features BRD and FRD. I will show you the key difference between these both the documents. Okay. First of all, your focus when I am creating the BRD, so my focus will be on what you want. That's it. And while I will start preparing the FRD, my focus will be on how it will be done. Okay. Similarly here, created by business analyst. Yes, business analyst. Now the one question always arises, who will prepare the when it is called as business requirement document, then who will prepare this? Definitely the client should prepare. No, actually it's the task of business analyst. The reason is that in a company, in a normal like manufacturing plant or a furniture selling company, any retail company or high level company, it is not necessary that all the persons, all the employees, they are good in writing skills, documentation skills, because a common man, or we can say the serviceman, he just daily does his job, that's it. And while writing the documentation, there is some process of writing some documents. For example, let me show you this example, right? Now whenever you start writing any document, look at this. First of all, functional design document for GL implementation, for which company, who is going to prepare this document. Then here is the content, table of content. After that, next is document control version, document version control. Then you will see here the executive summary. So actually there is a standard process of writing the document. It is not easy for it is not a cup of tea for every person, that okay, every person will start preparing document. The person who understand exactly what is documentation, only he can create a document. So that is why the BRD is also, every document is created by business analyst only, right? Now in this BRD, not all, suppose technical document, they are created by technical person. Okay, so look at this. Now just a second. Now while created by business analyst, and when we work on functional requirement document, the business analyst and functional consultant, they both will communicate with each other. For example, suppose the business analyst, as a business analyst, I have written the BRD. In that BRD I have written the purchase order. Currently there is no approval routing, but they need approval routing in NetSuite when they implement new system. Now this I have written the document, taken the sign off, but a business analyst does not know how this approval routing works. He just written whatever they said, he has just written. Now he will communicate with the functional consultant. Okay, so how it can be done? Then the functional consultant will explain him that this is the workflow and this is how it will be done, right? So that is called, so that is the difference, the BRD and the FRD. Okay, now you will see here audience. Now in BRD, see, audience will be business, project manager, SME, subject matter expert. Okay, so now look at this. Now audience means who will view the BRD. Now when we talk about taking sign off from the BRD, right, taking sign off on BRD from the client. Now the question is, who will review that BRD form? So BRD, the vice president also will check that document, right? Then the project manager, then subject matter expert, those who are involved in that field, only they will examine that document, and then after reading that document they will say, okay, you can go ahead, this is okay. And when we talk about functional requirement document, right, now in this functional requirement document, who are the audience? So functional requirement document means the functional team will be the audience, okay, the functional person, that means the team leader, the functional consultant. Technical also, why? Because suppose there is a requirement written in BRD that approval routing is needed. I communicated with functional person, functional consultant. He says workflow can satisfy this requirement. Okay. Now who will design the workflow? The functional consultant, either the functional consultant or the technical. Normally it's a functional consultant task to design the workflow. Then, and suppose if any technical requirement is there, then who will do this? So technical person also, technical consultant. And after that, QA team, quality assurance team, quality analysis. The quality analysis means the testers team. The testers will test exactly what they needed, how they have prepared, and what is the output. If the output is desired output, then it's fine, right, and it will be moved ahead. Now see, audience is there. Now level means high level. Here it is written BRD high level and detailed and technical. Suppose you might have seen the map of any country. If you see the high level design, you can get that map anywhere, but if you keep on scrolling, then you will get the detail, like every city. If you want to see every city and every state, every county of that country, so that is called detailed and detailed. Similarly here the level is BRD is high level. For example, I asked the client, okay, currently what is your purchase order? It is as usual, but we want the approval process. Currently there is no approval, anyone can prepare a purchase order with any amount. This is called high level. What they said and what they want, what they are having and what they want, this is high level design. Detailed and technical design means functional requirement is a detailed and technical document. Detailed and technical means detailed, we will define that, okay, for your requirement we will design a workflow. That workflow will decide to which person the document should be sent. That is called detailed. And technical also, because there is the involvement of technical team. If any requirement can be fulfilled by scripting only, then in that case technical team come into picture. Okay, now another is visuals. Now visuals means flowcharts as is to be. Now see here, flowchart as is, if you remember, as is and to be document we have already discussed in our previous sessions. As is means whatever they are using current. To be means whatever change they want. As is means purchase order, receipt, item receipt, and then the invoice. And to be means purchase order creation, then the approval routing, and then the item receipt, and then the invoice part. So there are again two documents, as is and to be document. So if you see my previous sessions, you will easily get this as is and to be point, right? So this is how it works. Flowcharts, see in BRD flowcharts, yesterday I have shown you the flowcharts, how their current system works. Okay, so that's why flowchart plays an important role to show their current working, actual work. As is to be, that means whatever they want, that is to be document. In this FRD, what are the visuals? Visuals means after opening the document, what you will see in that document. Field maps, okay. Table references, okay. Now field maps and table references means, suppose in functional requirement document, the fields will be mentioned, okay. Then the table references, what tables are used, okay. So in functional requirement document you will see the complete flowchart also, and also which table, or we can say which record is referred for this, right? So that is called functional requirement document, right? So there is a difference. These are the key difference between the BRD and the FRD, right? And in technical design document it is even more different than these both, because the technical design document is totally different, right? We will discuss that some other in our another session, some other session. Okay, so this is how we have seen the key differences. Now see here, section by section, FRD is structure section by section. Okay, so first of all let me show you the document first. Right now just have a look, as you have seen yesterday also. Right now first just see what I am showing you. Functional design document, this is the first page, right? Second page is table of content, third page is document version control, fourth is executive summary, current process, okay, accounting period, okay, currency information. After that you will see the in scope, out scope, whatever. Then you will see common COS structure for US and India. Okay, now this is something in depth. Okay, then you will see here the GL progress process workflow proposed, whatever we have proposed. Okay, then the GL reports. After that you will see reporting requirements, what type of reporting we are going to do, we are going to show, right? So this is how the reporting requirements are there. Then you will see the reporting tools also, what type of tools we are going to use, okay, and then system configuration, right? And then remaining all that we already know. Similarly I am showing you one more sample of HR project. Okay, here is one our HR project. Okay, HR project. Now HR portal project also same. First page is for to whom this project is we are developing, then who is developing the project, then after that the version control, the table of content, okay, then you will see the introduction, purpose, scope. See, you can add one or more heading, right? Purpose, what is the purpose of this, then what is the scope of this, then what are the references you have used, then overview, then system overview, then functional requirements. Now look at this functional requirements. Now this is how the functional requirement, how the functionally it will work. For example, here project created by HR manager. So HR manager will create the project. Then task modules. See, in a HR management you also might have seen that there are some projects created by the HR, some tasks are given to the employees, the resources are deployed on the project, right? Constraints, all these things. Now if you see here, timesheet module, right? So these are the things that we have to define, we have to show the flow charts, right? Leave module. Now this complete leave module is shown in the flow chart. Then the handbook module, look at this, handbook uploaded by administrator, latest handbook shown on all employee dashboard, handbook acknowledged, yes, then and otherwise no, then again go to the latest handbook shown. That means these are the flowchart. I have also shown you the process of flowchart creation. Okay, then you will see system architecture and design, design constraints, system decomposition, right? Then you will see the interface design. So all these things are there in the functional requirement document. Okay, so now let's move ahead. Now if you see here, okay, so first of all we will see all these points and then we will again jump to the document. Clear? Okay, so now let's see this. First of all, look at this functional structure, FRD structure section by section. First is document control. Now document control, now you understood version, author, reviewers, date. I have shown you already that, right? The second page, purpose, objective of the document, link to related BRD, or requirement IDs. Scope. Now see here, scope means exactly what we are going to provide in this functional requirement document, functional area covered, right? All these things. Then you will see, just hold on, just give me a second. Okay, yes. So now you will see the third point, that is the scope. Scope means functional area covered. Example, sales order, purchase or approval workflow, right? So the scope means what we are covering and what we are giving you. That's it. Okay. Then you will see the assumptions and dependencies. Now see, assumptions and dependencies means, dependency means suppose user roles, environment assumptions, third party tool. Now we are assuming that whatever you will provide, that is perfect and correct and accurate. And dependencies means third party. For example, suppose I am giving you an example. Suppose a company is using, suppose dependency, suppose a company is using Python website, right, for the last 20 years or 10 years. Let's take 10 years. Now they are implementing the NetSuite, okay, but they do not want to retire the NetSuite, sorry, Python. So what they want? Connectivity Python with REST API. Okay, so that is called, that means now you are using any other either connectivity you can use, whether the Celigo NetSuite, anything. So either there is a third party tool also. Nowadays third party tools, there are so many tools available to connect the two application or the two tools. Okay, so here in this functional requirement document, suppose I feel, for example, let's take an example of like WordPress websites, right? WordPress websites, many of you might have heard about WordPress website, right? Now in this, suppose if you ask me to design a website on WordPress, now in that WordPress all the work is done by plugins. Now suppose if the requirement of the client is something that needs to be a new plugin to be developed, so that is called dependency. So I will tell you that in that functional requirement document, I will tell you that okay, for this a new plugin is to be created, right? So that is called functional dependency, right? So dependency means in this functional requirement we will define that exactly what dependencies are there. So this, at this point only the person, the consultant has to explain. Then let's see functional requirement. Okay, now functional requirements means what? Now functional requirements means numbered and categorized. Okay, now functional requirement, let's take an example of like either the sales order. Okay, sales order related. Now they should be numbered and categorized. Number one, for each requirement there should be a requirement ID, description, input fields, business logics or calculation, expected output results, and screen transaction involved. Okay, now I will explain you these points with the help of notepad again. Let me increase this and I will go again. Okay, now how this can be done? Let's come here. Okay, first of all it should be numbered, right? That's fine. Now what I will do, for each requirement there should be requirement ID. Requirement 1, right? Purchase PO should be related to requisition. Okay, directly PO will not be created. Okay, this is requirement 1. Description I have already given. Okay, then input fields, whatever the input fields are required. Okay, so RQT2 fields that are required in purchase order form. Okay. Third point, business logic requirement 3. What is the business logic? That means what type of approval routing you need, right? It will be defined, right? Okay. Then fourth point, expected output results, right? And then screen and transaction error. So for example, for send for approval if PO amount greater than 50,000. That's it. So this is called, every requirement has its own requirement number, requirement ID, and then after that how the screens will look like. Okay, so RQT 5 5 PO purchase wrap needs 5 different screen. Okay, so this is called functional requirement of the specific purchase to procure module. Okay, so that is why here it is written number 1 is requirement ID. Okay, number 1 is requirement ID, second is description is this. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Numbered and categorized. Okay, numbered and categorized. Requirement ID, description, input fields. Okay, fields that are required in a PO form. Okay, business logic. Okay, what type of approval routing you need. Here you will see the business logic and calculation also, expected output, and then the screens, right? So all these things will be involved in functional requirement document, because once this functional requirement document is signed off, then our technical team will start working on it. Technical team and the functional team, right? So that is the main target. So that is why always this the business analyst has to know the exact process, that how the requirements or how the documents are done. Actually there is a series, right? Just hold on. Yes, now okay, now these points are clear to you. Okay, let's make it bigger. Okay, now see here, UI design field mapping. Now UI design field mapping means again the same thing. Now till at this point of time also our technical and functional team is not currently working on the system, right? So we will define the UI design and field mapping. UI design and field mapping means, for example, whatever fields that you were using in your legacy system, right? And whatever fields are available in the NetSuite system, right? Both might be different or they might match also, right? So they might be different. So in that case we put a layout of the screen also, right? We will put the screenshots also. There is a full freedom in designing a functional requirement document, right? For example, just keep this line in mind, this one line in mind, that whatever you want, how it will be done, what things can be changed, what things will be changed, all these things you have to define, right? Then list of standard and custom fields. Now see, there are some standard fields, there are some custom fields. For example, like in NetSuite, normally in a purchase order form or a sales order form, there is only one memo by default given, but in the legacy system they might be using one memo for the sales rep and another memo field for the warehouse management team. Because I have seen in my project, in a sales order form, one sales rep demanded that I want one another memo field, and that memo field should be for warehouse management team. So list of standard and custom fields, they should also be shown in the functional requirement. Now many times what happens in BRD, some things might be missing. Now the client, they never know exactly what fields are there in the NetSuite and how they will be mapped. They never know. It is our duty to show. That means the business analyst. Okay. Then mandatory and optional, which field should be mandatory, which field should be optional. Default values, what should be the default value for that? For example, like normally if we talk about the line level, normally the whenever you select an item, automatically the quantity 1 is taken. Now do you want to make it 2, 3, 4? Because there are some items which can't be sold in one, right? So they should be sold in the pairs or the anything. So default values are there. Then validations will also be there, right? Suppose if the item is more than 4 is selected, or the quantity is more than 4, then automatically it should prompt that item will not be sold. That means per sales order or per sales order only 4 items will be sold. So these type of things are given by the client, and then we put all these things in the functional requirement. Clear? Now, so this is the 6th point. I will show you the document also one by one, everything. Okay. Now let's talk about the workflow process description. If workflow is involved, suite flow in NetSuite describes. Now describe the triggers, conditions, actions, status transitions. Yeah, this is most interesting. So in workflow, actually in workflow there are 4 major things. One is the trigger, that means when this workflow will activate. Second is conditions, on what conditions, what type of conditions this workflow will work. And actions, what actions to be taken and how it will be transitioned to another state. In my last session, I have also explained you about the workflow process completely. I recommend you to watch that video. That is most important, right? So in that complete workflow process is explained. Right now I am explaining you here in short. That first is trigger point. Trigger point means whenever the purchase order is created, and if the amount is greater than $50,000, and when you will hit the button save it, that means you are creating a purchase order. So at the time of creation, this workflow will be triggered, right? And this workflow will be created for purchase order only, so that particular workflow will be triggered. Now on what conditions it will focus on, right? The workflow will focus on what type of conditions. Now the conditions will be when the status is not approved, second, amount is greater than 90,000, third, the logged in person, who is the logged in person and what's his role, right? All these 3 things are there. Then in that case, these are the conditions. So in that case, the one button will be shown, send for approval. For example, a sales rep has created a purchase order form, and that purchase order form is created for so many items, and the amount exceeds up to $60,000. Now immediately this when you will hit the button, immediately that workflow start triggered. Now the conditions are, if the status is pending for approval, okay. If the total is greater than 50,000, okay. Now show the button, that is send for approval. This is the action. What action to be taken? Send for approval, okay. Show the button. And transition status transition means immediately that form will stop appearing in front of the sales rep. It starts appearing in front of the sales supervisor or the purchase supervisor. So that is called status transition. How the status will be transitioned, right? That means how you will be redirected from one status to another state, correct? So this is how all in all it is just like a workflow, right? It is just like a the data flow diagram. In data flow diagram also we define the same thing, how the things will move from this state to that state, and what will be the criteria, what will be the if conditions, what will be the decision making, like this. Okay. Now integration requirements, if any, suppose if any integration is there, in that case what will happen? So you have to define the API or the RESTlet or the middleware. Now see, in functional document there is the ball is in your side, that you can write whatever you want. For example, here in this middleware application is there. Suppose now in the BRD you have already mentioned that all the expenses will be bear by the customer. Do you remember in our last session we have discussed that, and I have also shown that point. All the expenses will be bear by the client. Now here suppose if any middleware application will be required. For example, just now I have shown you that, like in a WordPress website, suppose if any plugin is required, in that case I will just define that into the functional requirement document, that plugin will be required and you have to pay for that plugin, correct? So API, RESTlet, middleware, whatever is required, in that you have to define. Field mapping with external system. Now field mapping, it's an Excel sheet in which you will map one field corresponding another field with the next field. For example, in QuickBooks, like customer name, so customer name, only name will be taken as an ID, right? Let's suppose now that name will be mapped with what in NetSuite? That is the entity. In NetSuite there is a fixed ID for that customer name, that is entity. So C underscore name, that is customer underscore name, will be mapped with the entity. So we have to prepare one Excel sheet up. That is called mapping with external system. And then error handling and response expectation. Now error handling and response expectation means, for example, if any error is coming, then you have to show it into the log error, right? Logging tab, right? In that you have to show the log in the error side. I mean to say the tab, there is a tab in the scripting field where you will see all the errors, but when error comes it will never show to the client. That is called try and catch. Technical person, they know this, right? But for business analyst, only try and catch, knowing about try and catch, that is a. Now here field mapping and external system, field mapping with external system is done. Error handling and response system, okay, that is fine. Now security and role based access. Now in this system you will see security and role based access. Who can access, edit, approve. Now this thing also given by client himself, because we never know which person is important in their company, right? So they will give you the list of all the persons, all the employees with their importance. That means what role they are playing. So who can access, edit, approve, role permissions, right? So this, after that you will see the reporting needs. These are the headers. Now I am showing you only 11 points, but it varies from this, project to project. It is not necessarily these 11 points are useful. There could be any. For example, if any changes are done in the middle of the project, so you have to create a change requirement document, change management document. So let's see this 10th point. reporting needs. Now in this reporting needs, what type of reporting do you want? Actually, this reporting needs comes from the BRD only, because in BRD itself I have written like they want some saved searches, they want some dashboard to be customized, they want some custom reports, they want something like we say the balance sheet reporting, right? All these things will be shown here, right? So that is why this reporting needs is appearing here. Now saved searches, dashboard, custom reports, whatever they want in that. Now here you will see only these 3 points, but this reporting needs might take 1 or 2 pages to show all the details, right? How many saved searches will be created, who will on what basis the saved search will be created. You have to define it with description in depth. Then you will see the filtering, grouping, output format, whatever the output format that you want, you have to define. Then 11th point, let's see testing guidelines. Okay, now this testing guidelines, high level test cases or UAT condition. Now see, suppose once you have done the, you have, let's again start with the beginning. You have taken the requirement, you have analyzed it, you have prepared a prototype and shown them, then take the sign off, then you will prepare the BRD, right? BRD, and then the FRD. Now here you will see high level test cases means once you have you will complete the design, documenting everything, and then you will go to test. Now who will test, what conditions, you have to design that document also, right? Testing guidelines means whatever we are giving you in the Excel sheet, you have to follow exactly the same, right? Do not digress here and there, just exactly same you have to follow the instructions. Who will validate sample data needed? Now who will validate the sample data? For example, it's the task of the technical person that he will validate exactly the sample data. So the client will provide you the sample data, and then it will be tested by the technical person. Okay, now you will see here FRD example, NetSuite sales order custom work. Okay, sample functional requirement entry. First of all, ID FRSO001. I have used the term RQT1, here they are using FRSO. Okay, now FR means functional requirement for sales order 001 module, that is the sales requirement approve SO greater than 3000. Input field sales order amount. Okay, logic if amount is greater than 50,000, status pending approval. This same thing I have explained you few minutes back, right? UI impact, add custom status in SO form. Okay, role involved sales rep, sales manager. Okay, workflow actions, email to approver, approve, and then status is up. So these are the requirement entry, right? Sample, I am just showing you the sample. Acha, one more thing, sample, see, things can be changed as per the project. Now suppose if you can remove this module or anything, if you want to add something new point, then also these are some important points that we have shown you, right? And if you want to add any some other points, that is up to you, that is based on the requirement. Okay, now see, best practice in writing FRD. First of all, keep requirement language precise and system focused. The you should be very good in communication skills, right? You have to write down the requirement in a few lines, but effectively. Keep requirement language precise and system focused. That is why we need the workflow. The workflow, or we can say process requirement document. Here it is. Where it is? This is also called as workflow, process flow diagram, right? So workflow means not only that NetSuite workflow, this process flow diagram. Okay. So keep requirement language precise and system focused. In a process requirement design require what we say flow chart, right? Process flow diagram. Now in that you have to define it. It reduces the language, but it shows everything in the picture format, chart format. Use standard template across teams. Once the templates are created, same template format should be there, same template. Do not change the templates every time, because what happens, the reason is that the developers and the functional consultant, they are busy in their own task, right? Whatever daily task they are assigned to, they have to complete it. So keep the standard template. Include visuals like screenshots or field tables. Visuals means same, either screenshot you have to include, or you have to include the flow chart, everything, right? Always cross reference to BRD requirement IDs. That's what I told you. Always cross reference to BRDs. For example, approval routing. If I write approval routing in functional requirement document, then I have to note down that this is referred from this requirement displayed in the BRD. That means we are not doing it by our own. This already requirement ID is given in the BRD and we are working accordingly. Review with tech team before finalizing. This is most important. This is most important. Review with tech team before finalizing. Whatever commitment and finalize decision that you give to the client, whether, because this could be in written, that means on record, so you have to finalize it with the tech team, because many times what happens, the tech team shows you some limitations, because whatever the technical limitations, the only technical team knows. Business analyst is not from very can say he is not from like technologically, okay, but at least he should know the basics of technology, right? SDL. Now review with tech team before finalize. Use tools like Word, Confluence and Google Docs. The reason is that very simple tools you should use, right? Excel sheet, Word, Google Docs. So these are the tools. So these are the best practice for writing the FRD. Now let's check the summary also. Summary. FRD describes how the system should behave. First thing, that is correct. Focus on logical fields, validation, roles, UI behavior. Okay, fine. UI behavior means once the purchase order is greater than 50,000, immediately one button will be displayed, that is sent for approval, and as soon as the sales rep hit that button, that field should start visible in front of the supervisor or whosoever is assigned for approval of the sales purchase order. Okay. Essential bridge between BA and the developer tester. Okay, now see, from client to business analyst, the bridge is like BRD, right? BRD is the bridge between the client and the business analyst, and FRD is the bridge between the client and the technical team. Okay, so essential bridge between the BA and the developer testers. BA and developer tester means business analyst. So business analyst, whatever business analyst gives to the tester will start working on that only. Tester will not make change any in the functional requirement document. Include field mapping, workflow steps and output tools. Yes, in this FRD, field mapping will be there, workflow will be there, output tools will be. A must have document in ERP NetSuite customer. Yes, this is most important document complete implementation. Okay, so this document is most important. So now let's see this one more example I am showing you here. We were at this point. Okay, now if you see system architecture and design, okay, all these designs, interface design, how the uh, screen will look like. Okay, then look at this. Okay, and then finally this is the high level design. Okay, then you will see here the data design. So everything, let's see this, the GL impact again from the beginning. If I show you, the first three pages are related to version control and table of document, table of content, everything. Then the executive summary is this current process. So see, when we will show the working process, we have to define that exactly what we received and how the process is going to take place. Okay, then we will see the implementation approach. Okay, how we are going to implement this. Okay, in functional common COS structure for US and India. Okay, then we will see the GL process flow. After that we will see here the reporting requirement, what type of reporting you want, and against that what type of records you want. For example, CSV, Excel, PDF, Word report should be downloaded. Okay, the report should be sent on email after a particular time interval. So these are the reporting requirements. Okay, then you will see you have to design the flowchart also for each and every requirement. Okay, then the system configuration, your system should contain these configuration, because many times what happens, the configuration of the system makes the process slow and the client gets irritated. So you have to previously define that in advance. You have to define that you have to use these configurations. Okay, right, and after that, once it is done, you have to show it to the client, and then you can take the sign off, and then after that you have your technical team will take over. Okay, so guys, this was all about the functional requirement document, how it is prepared. Now in our next session, we will see use cases, document, user stories, right? That is most important, right? Use case of the document, right? So I recommend you to watch this video once more, so that you will get a clarity in that. And those who are new to this channel and those who have not subscribed this channel, I suggest them to uh, like and subscribe the channel, so that you will get the notification of the upcoming video. Okay guys, so tomorrow we will see the just use case document and user story, right? So we will see how they are fit. Okay, so guys, today we are wrapping up here only, and tomorrow we will see new topic. Thank you guys, thanks for attending the session. Thank you.